Welcome to Pascal's China Lens. Now, every quarter I get invited as a guest lecturer, guest professor in Paris at the Fontainebleau campus of Insead to give a lecture on innovation in China. And this is organized by CEDEP, which is the executive development program in Paris for companies like L'Oréal, Tata, Renault, Bekaert, many others. And last time I went there was back in March, just before the crisis or the lockdown hit us. The main question on everyone's mind at that point was, should we decouple from China, yes or no? So should we decouple from China is a question that many people who are manufacturing in China or buying from China's supply chain today are asking themselves. And to understand the question, we have to go back in time. 2015, China made the Made in China 2025 plan. They created that plan in order to tell all the Chinese producers to elevate their level of innovation and basically to have 70% of all the production, high-level innovative products coming from China for the Chinese market, and only 30% could be imported. So China has clearly given the go-ahead to decouple from the world, and that's 5 years ago. Of course, since then we have had the trade war for the past 2 years with Trump, which also wants a decoupling, and then later on with the coronavirus and the crisis, what we saw is that everything that we needed during those crises, think about test kits, masks, lots of ventilators, it was all produced in China, even medical equipment. And so this became a real issue. We felt that the words that we were using before, like just in time and efficiency and margins, had little meaning because we didn't have the products. Now it was all about being resilient, it was being delocalizing, reshoring. These were the new words of today, all because of the crisis. And so a lot of people since the crisis have been thinking, we need to get away from China, it's way too dangerous. But have we really thought this through? Because if you think about it, why are we buying and manufacturing in China? There's many reasons. One of them is actually a huge local market. And so for many companies, they're actually in China because of the Chinese market. And so that makes a lot of sense. And so reshoring these factories means you would be paying more to get these products back into the country. On the other hand, what we're forgetting is that China has a very efficient supply chain. It's an ecosystem that is really so efficient that there's no place on the planet that you can actually rebuild this easily. And Tim Cook, the CEO of Apple, said it very clearly at one point, China is the only place where you can build high quality products at very low cost, deliver just in time and at scale. And so that means that this ecosystem in China has become so efficient that there's very difficult to reproduce that back here. And so we have to think this through, because it would mean that we would have to set up factories in Europe or in America. We would have to set up supply chains. We would have to train people who aren't trained because they've all been trained in China or in Asia. We would have to invest, especially in automation. So it's not about getting jobs back. It's really about investing in robots much more than we did before. And so doing all that is possible. But reality, it will cost us a huge amount of money. And so the question is, are we ready? Are we prepared to do it? And then the solution might be before us, but we don't really see it. Knowing the fact that most Chinese companies are also trying to go outside. I'm thinking about Southeast Asia, I'm thinking about Africa, South America, places where they really want to expand to. Maybe we should work with the Chinese in these new places instead of just getting away from China, and maybe together, because they have the expertise, they have the investments, they have the machinery, they know how to do it. Maybe together we can actually decouple from China, but still be working with Chinese companies. That would be my solution to a problem. So let's not do it too fast, because it's going to cost us so much. And today in this crisis, I think we need our money somewhere else than actually rebuilding the factories and supply chains. So I hope my answer gives you an alternative answer to how to decouple from China and not do it too fast. And if you like these kind of insights, do follow me. Next week I'll be there with another question and another answer on Pascal's China lens.